Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Sander and Jess Valentine.
Hey, Kate. So someone in our Facebook group made a joke saying that you never finish books. So I'm just curious, have you finished any books lately?
So I believe the last Audible ad was talking about Blackout, and no, I haven't finished that one. I often don't finish books, but I don't feel bad because I'm just listening. I'm currently listening to a book on emotional childhood neglect called Running on Empty, and if you guys sign up to audibletrial.com/Seltzer Squad, you can get your first month for free and listen to books haphazardly like we do.
The best part about listening to a book on Audible is it's kind of like a podcast. You can drop it at any time and pick it up anytime. So definitely use our promo code and get your first month free. Hey, Kate, what's another way that the squad can help support the podcast?
In addition to just listening or signing up to our Patreon, y'all can shop our online merch store, which has a variety of different sober treats, from mugs to sweatshirts to tanks and tees.
Everything.
All of our signature sayings are all over our sober merch. So visit seltzersquadshop.com and check it out.
Treat yourself to something sober while supporting the pod.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, Kate.
I have some breaking news.
What?
I think we need to do a surprise to you, a major milestones episode. What do you think the major milestone is?
Wait, what? We're doing an episode right now for major milestones? Live. Oh, okay. Guys, I'm unaware of what's happening right now. Okay. Major milestones, surprise edition. Writing this shit down. What do I think is the major milestone?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We have officially reached over 1 million downloads.
Oh, very nice.
Isn't that crazy? So this is, I think we need to do like a major milestones podcast edition, because I looked it up and we have been on the air for over 1,000 days, and we have reached over 1 million downloads. That's fucking crazy.
That's awesome.
Like, it's hard to, for me to conceptualize 1 million people listening to this at some point in time. Or maybe the same people listening to this many times, but
I don't know what that even means. It means
according to our podcast host provider, the podcast has been uniquely downloaded over 1 million times. So that's subscribers. That's anytime I think somebody listens through the website. But what do you think is the most popular episode?
Don't you have to actually download it? Is that different than listening?
I don't know the specifics.
That's a lot. Yeah, I don't know what 1 million looks like either.
But what do you think is our top episode?
Oh, I don't know. Give me a hint.
I mean,
is it okay?
It's fairly low-hanging fruit, but
is it like a one-off, or is it like Hot Mess?
No, episode 1, pre-game, all the way back from the crypts. It has been really our most popular episode. I think probably because people start from the beginning would be my assumption, but
and then they realize that they don't like us.
Yes. So our first 3 episodes are in the 1, 2, 3 spot, and then our top interviews are obviously Holly and Laura.
Oh, okay.
But it seems like people dig. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag when I'm looking at the top ones, because I was looking to see if there were like a theme to see are people really liking one thing over another, but it seems like a mixed bag. So, but I think I want to kind of talk about before, during, after the podcast, because it feels like it's been such a staple or something that we've been doing for so long. It's been almost 3 years that we should talk about how it's impacted our lives. Remember how scared I was? That's funny now to me.
Yes, you were so scared.
It was like my sober outing was this podcast. Now I'm loud and proud.
She was so scared, y'all. She like didn't want to talk about anything. And look at her now. Look at her now.
Yeah. At work, they're like, they call me Dr. Kate because I think they think I'm going for my PhD, but I'm like, maybe, like one day, but
I'm sure you end up.
It's just
you
funny
will
to
end
think
up
about
doing
that now.
Wow, that's crazy. So we've been on the air for 3 years?
Almost 3. It'll be 3 years in November, yeah.
Wow.
What are your highlights and lowlights?
Ooh. I would say probably one of our highlights for me would be getting recognition from Holly because she was like sober Oprah, you know? And feeling just like included in the sober community.
Yes.
Like as, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I remember listening to Lisa Smith, Girl Walks Out, and then like meeting her and like, she's so sweet. And it's like, whoa, like this is so cool. And she recognized us as like an equal kind of, you know, like not like a sober tourist or whatever you want to call it. So being accepted into like the sober community and being accepted for having alternative views on how to recover, I guess those are highlights. Lowlights would be putting out, lowlights would definitely be like my mom calling me like after the first
that's right.
episode aired, and like the fight that I got into with my mom, and just like really putting all of my shit out there. That's definitely a low light, but it needed to happen. Like I'm happy that I did. I don't regret it, but it also just like in the beginning, like forcing me to sit and reflect back on like some of the really like shameful, horrible shit that I did do and say it out loud. Saying it out loud, admitting it to yourself is one thing, saying it out loud is another, and then saying it out loud to other people is like crazy. So those are lowlights, but I'm 100% like happy that I went through that and like put myself out there, because it's all about being honest. And that's why I think people listen to us, is because we're so forthcoming and open and we're relatable. So what about you? What about your highlights, lowlights?
I mean, one of my favorite things is like our connection has gotten so much deeper because you and I weren't that close. Like we were friends, like friends,
but we were
you
never,
know, but we weren't like besties or anything like that. And so I think that was like a positive change for me, is that I gained you as like a solid friend, and our relationship has deepened. And like we're on the same level. I mean, we see the same therapist. So like it's nice because I can always kind of depend on you as a sounding board for like anything that I come to you with. And I like selfishly still enjoy doing the podcast because I sucker you into talking to me once a month, you know, and it's like our time to catch up. But it's also like you and I have a relationship deeper and different than many of my friendships. So I like very much value that. The squad has been such a, like something I didn't expect, like how you said we were welcomed into the sober community, like to be connected to so many people, like listeners and other creators, was something I didn't expect to happen, and to get so much 100%. Out of, to where I have like solid friendships with other creators and solid friendships with squad listeners. And I really didn't think that we would like have any of that, and be, you know, like have it on in an interactive way to where I would feel so supported, like fully in, you know, like anything that I want to bring to the table. I think some of the lowlights for me were like coming out on it. I was extremely anxious and nervous and was all in my head about what it was going to mean. And I was really scared of spilling my secrets, and kind of having that as like a record of, you know, really dark times that could potentially be used against us or something like that at any time. And I think, like you said before, kind of spilling them releases like the handcuffs of shame. So that was something I didn't expect. Like I remember talking about the arrest, because I like to this day really haven't verbally said that to that many people. It's sort of like an Easter egg if you listen to the podcast and you know that about me now. But for like all intents and purposes, most people in my life, I do not disclose that information to, including most of my family. I never told that story to. And it was very much like kept it, you know, hidden and away. So the lowlights for me, you know, are that. And also, I mean, I think there's been times where you and I have felt like we're losing steam and it feels like a chore where we're like, fuck, we have to find time to do this. Like, this is so much work. Why are we even doing this? And so, you know, like the consistency has been difficult, I think, because we're both like not really consistent people by nature. So the fact that we have committed to do this has been, I think the discipline of it has been good for us. But I think in the moment, sometimes I'm like, fuck, we don't have anything left to say. Like, what are we even doing? Like, you know, and that's definitely like, sometimes I don't look forward to it. A low light for me was when, you know, we were in between editors and it was really a ton of work. And I was like, there's no way we can continue to do this. And I was very resentful towards, you know, how much work this was and feeling like, you know, everything was so much and why are we even doing this? And so a highlight has obviously been, you know, tip my hat to Hambone for facilitating us to make it. And then also, you know, we love baby Nat because she makes it happen every single week. And she's like just so on it and helpful and suggestive and couldn't ask for a better third wheel, because otherwise there's no fucking way we would still be doing this if we didn't have help. No. So she's a highlight. And then just...
Those are good answers, Kate.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. I think, you know, I was watching the count over the summer. I think Nat and I were like texting back and forth about it. Like, oh my God, is this like really going to happen? You know, does it really actually grow that much? And then I just checked this morning because I was like, hey, we should be close. Like, I don't know, you know, when, but it's also interesting that we've, like, so much of my life has happened during this, my sober life. So many like good things and big things have happened during this. And probably in part because we are on the air sharing things and, you know, it's helped our confidence. But I don't know. I like other random, like, what has been what was your funniest hot mess that we've ever read? Like, what comes to your mind?
Oh man, I don't know. There's so many good ones, but one of the funniest ones I feel like is the girl who ate the succulent.
Oh yeah, goat.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So good.
And the girl that ripped her pants and had her ass out on the dance floor all night. I think are the two that I think about the most.
Oh, and like the one girl who like I think she was just like in line for something and just shat.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that, or like by a window, she like thought she was hidden. I don't remember, but it was really funny. That was
inconspicuous barfers, you know.
Oh, so many. Another thing that I didn't expect, like I thought it was just gonna be like a little fun project for us, like, and for our own sobriety and mental health, and just like a fun thing. Like everyone wants to do a podcast, but I don't think I was ready, or not. I shouldn't say I wasn't ready, but I didn't expect so many people to relate to us and we help. Like, I still find it weird that we help people. Like that just still isn't like a thing to me. Like it doesn't make sense, but people say it all the time and they think us for the podcast. And I'm like,
yeah, because we just think we're a bunch of assholes.
Like it doesn't, I don't understand the gravity of this situation because we're in it, right? Like we're on the other side of it. So, but
do you have podcasts that you listen to because they're like, so I have like different levels of podcasts that I listen to. Some when I like need to focus or like I really want to be told a story. Some I listen to because I just like to check in and it's like easy listening. And I feel like we kind of hopefully we fall into like easy listening a bit because it's not like we're taking on harder, deeper things, but I'm hoping that, you know, we're taking them on in an approachable way and a way that makes, you know, people able to reflect and learn something and feel supported, but also it's not like we're like fucking having a church sermon every week.
Oh God, no. Yeah. I only have one podcast that I listen to nowadays. I used to be more like, I would listen when I drove, and I don't really drive that much anymore. Sometimes I'll go out to my mom's literally just so we can like listen to a podcast on the way there. Yeah, I only listen to Sword and Scale right now. But that doesn't mean I won't listen to podcasts again. It's just currently I don't leave my
Everyone's
fucking house.
lives are different. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have watching a lot of true crime shows. But honestly, I'm constantly like listening to podcasts, always true crime, and being like, man, I wonder if there's a show on this, because I'm just always watching TV. Yeah. It's like if I'm doing like the TV version of my podcast, if that makes sense. I do miss listening to podcasts. I need to like get back to it. I just am not spending as much time in my car. And sometimes I just want to jam out to Taylor Swift when I am driving. So
what do you think? Do you think you would still be sober without the podcast? Because you were in the beginning. You don't?
No. Do you think you would? I don't know.
I don't think I would be. I don't think I would like myself as much as I do without the podcast, because I think that with the podcast we had to confront a lot of like, well, this is the way we are, you know, like take it or leave it, you know, because you get hate and that makes you like either feel defensive or sort of disengage. And I think, you know, my like primary fear when we started was like a bunch of people finding it and like somehow using it against me in real life, and or like just receiving hate. And now I feel like I like don't engage or don't care about the hate at all. And you know,
I always
even you hate, like have always... like fizzled a bit. Like I knew that like we would get hate and you would be like want to fight, but even you are like sort of like, nah, whatever, like fuck you, you know.
I try. Yes, I definitely wouldn't be the same person had we not done the podcast. I can't even think. It's hard because who knows, right? Because like this is the path that we are on, and this is our lives. And I don't know. I don't want to say I wouldn't be sober because there's a very good chance I would, but I do like the accountability of having the podcast.
Me too.
And feeling like not only, yes, I have to show up for myself, but for me, it's more like for showing up for you, showing up for the squad. Really, it's you. I feel more like I don't want to let you down. And if that's what I need to tell myself in my head in that moment, then that's what I have to tell myself in my head. But you know what I mean? Like we're in this together and you're my support system. And
I feel like at a point I caught a vibe where I was like, oh, I don't think she's into this anymore. But I was also like, I think this is good for her. So I'm going to continue to make her do this until she tells me she doesn't want to do it anymore.
I don't want to do it anymore. I don't.
Like, I was like, but I was like, I also feel like she doesn't talk about these things in her normal life. So I think that I might be the outlet in which,
I don't. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely the person I speak to the most about it. But I mean, it definitely comes up, you know, here and there because it's just life and part of my life. But I mean, yes, I definitely think about it. That's the thing is like sometimes I just don't want to think about my sobriety. I just want to be, and the podcast forces me to do that when I don't want to do that. Like there's always things that are annoying about the podcast. A, it's time consuming, or B, getting our schedules lined up, or C, just like I'm fucking tired and don't want to do it, or B, it's like it's my day off and I want to like I have shit to do. Sometimes it's just like I don't want to think about sobriety, and you know, other times like I can't think of anything to come up with, or I'm having a bad day. Like there's so many variables, but I'm grateful for the podcast. I'm grateful that we did it. No, I'm being serious. I'm grateful that we put this out there, even if we didn't put another episode out after this one. Which don't worry, y'all, we are.
Right.
I'm grateful that we have this. And I don't necessarily want to like go back and listen to them like the first ones, but eventually I'm sure like in 10 years I'm going to want to go back and listen. But
it makes me feel like we've made it like a small ripple. Like I think
we have.
I'm like,
I think we have.
One of my biggest fears in life was always like, what if I'm not having children? What if I have no legacy? And I like to take peace knowing that like hopefully we helped a few people that may remember us at some point in time.
I think that we're there. I think we put our little
yes.
We did it.
Yes.
Kate and Jess was
We,
here.
her, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like we're ending it. Like,
no, I mean, no, obviously it also has occurred, it occurred to me, I think, I don't know, I don't remember when maybe were in between editors that I was like, this isn't in perpetuum, this will end at some point. And, obviously there will be an end to it. And I was like, that's so weird to think about. It's just been, for me, such a staple, not like a daily staple in my life, but definitely something that sometimes I've looked forward to, sometimes I haven't looked forward to, but it's just been something that's been there.
It's part of our life. Yeah.
And so it's I'm sure we will have talks about at some point, what the end would look like. But as for our all intents and purposes of this recording, we are only here to celebrate a milestone and have no plans of ending the podcast anytime soon. So, but like all good things, Oprah ended. I don't think we'll be on the air for 20 fucking years, but Seinfeld had to end. Everything has to.
Friends ended. Sex. Yes. Well, whatever. Well,
this
congrats.
has been so fun taking a trip down memory lane. I want to thank everybody that has been listening with us.
Thank you to those million people out there.
Thank you to all million of you. We appreciate you so much. And I'm patting us on the back this one, Jess, because this is a major milestone.
Virtual pat on the back. Here's to another million. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. All right. Until we meet again.
Be nice to yourself.
And don't forget, hangovers suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.